Hey, good morning, everyone. Very often when it comes to verbal mitzvot that we perform with our mouths, with the reciting of something, so if I listen to what you're saying, and I have in mind that your speech should count for me, and you have in mind that your speech should count for me, so I'm able to fulfill my obligations, fulfill my mitzvah, by listening to what you say. We have this throughout the year. Parashat Zachor, we all have an obligation midoraita to hear it, but we listen to the Chazan and we fulfill the mitzvah. Kiddush Friday night. Usually in most homes, one person recites the Kiddush, he has everybody else in mind with his recital of the Kiddush, they have in mind to fulfill the mitzvah, and that counts them as well. What about the mitzvah of Sfirat Omer? So the poskim say that the language of the pasuk actually indicates, because the pasuk says, Usfartem lachem, you should count for yourselves. It doesn't just say that you should count. If it just said you should count, then maybe I could count and have you in mind. But it says that you should count for yourselves, just like we have on Sukkot. Each one of us, when we take the four species, the lulav and etrog, we have to own it. It has to be our own. So to over here, many poskim write that really, when you count the Sfirat Omer, it has to be you counting. And by listening to somebody else, even though we each have in mind to fulfill the mitzvah that way, it doesn't count. Therefore, a person should recite the Sfirat Omer by himself, not just by listening to the Chazan. Now, most people have no problem with that. They're in shul, they have no problem reciting the Sfirat Omer for themselves. However, this is relevant for a different reason, which is, do you have to understand what you're saying, or is it enough just to say it in Hebrew? So the halacha is that if a person recites the Sfirat Omer, he does not understand what he's saying, he doesn't understand the breakdown of the words, of what day, what week, in Lashon HaKodesh, he doesn't understand what he's saying in Hebrew, he did not satisfy the mitzvah. It's not good enough just to listen to the Chazan and have in mind, which might work b'diavad. That's okay, you can fulfill the mitzvah by listening b'diavad. But if you don't understand the language, then it doesn't count as accounting. You didn't count. It's not just the ritual of reciting these words. So therefore, the halacha is that a person should recite the Sfirat Omer in any language that he understands. Any language is eligible for Sfirat Omer. And if you don't understand what you're saying, even if it's in Lashon HaKodesh, it does not count. Rabbi Hanina ben Kasha Omer,